A man's wife goes to the bar Saturday night. She tells him she's going with her dad. She doesn't come home until the next morning. What he doesn't know is that she went home with her ex-boyfriend, and the sex was unprotected. He finds out days later, not from her but from her friend. His wife has no idea that he knows. And the worst part? He had to sit across from her at dinner that same night, listening to her talk about having baby number 3, while the truth was burning a hole in his stomach. Let's get into it. This story comes from a 27-year-old man. He's been married to his wife for 7 years. They have 2 daughters, ages 2 and 3. His wife is a stay-at-home mom. Saturday night, she told him she was going to the bar with her dad. He stayed home with the kids. They went to bed. She was home when they woke up. Everything seemed normal. Then, a few days later, one of her friends reached out to him, and what she told him changed everything. His wife didn't just go to the bar with her dad. She went home with her ex-boyfriend from 2018, and they had unprotected sex. The friend told him she had spent 2 days trying to convince his wife to come clean. She refused. According to the friend, his wife called her the morning after, sobbing about what she'd done. But she's adamant she's taking this secret to the grave. And here's what makes it worse. She's still talking to the guy, days later. The affair isn't over, it's just getting started. The husband found all of this out while he was on his way to meet his wife for a rare child-free dinner. He was about to confront her, but he was so overwhelmed with emotion that he was afraid he'd say something he'd regret. So instead, he sat across from her at dinner and said nothing. And while he sat there with this knowledge tearing him apart inside, she talked about their future. She told him how much she's enjoyed staying home and raising their girls, how much she appreciates everything he does to allow her to be a stay-at-home mom, how excited she is to start trying for baby number 3. Her IUD was coming out the next day. He said he wanted to vomit. The thing that really got to him, she was unusually affectionate, lovey-dovey. She's normally disconnected with him and the kids when she's home, but that night she was sweet and attentive. He knows now that it was guilt. He's laying on the couch at 2 a.m., shaking, unable to process what's happened. He doesn't know what to do. Part of him immediately thought divorce was the only option. He can't imagine ever trusting her again, but part of him still loves her. And he feels bad for her because she comes from a broken family. Her mom abandoned her as a kid. She has no reliable family. The family she does have are drunks and drug abusers. He's afraid that if he leaves, she won't be able to land on her feet, and his daughters will suffer because of it. He's torn. He's lost. And he's asking Reddit for advice. Now let's talk about the comments, because Reddit had a lot to say. The top comment laid out a brutal truth. The life you thought you had is sadly over. What comes next will be up to how you wish to handle things. You move forward slowly, methodically, and with as clear a head as you can muster. They told him not to make any major decisions right now, but to start gathering information. Talk to a lawyer, understand his options, find out where he stands financially and legally, and most importantly, do not have sex with her. They said, nothing will make things worse than her falling pregnant right now. If it means you have a 2-month-long headache, so be it. Another commenter added a terrifying detail. If she had unprotected sex on Saturday and gets her IUD removed on Wednesday, she could absolutely still get pregnant from that. Sperm can survive inside the body for up to a week. Someone else said, she's probably talking about baby number 3 because of the proximity to having unprotected sex with her ex. If the worst happens, there's no debate around conception dates. Multiple people told him to get a paternity test on his existing kids. If she cheated once, she may have cheated before. One commenter was blunt. Get your ducks in a row. She had unprotected sex with her ex, is still talking to him, and is having her IUD removed. She's trying to get you to raise her ex's kid. Another person pointed out the premeditation. She said she was going out with her dad and ended up with her ex? That screams pre-planned. She lied about where she was going and who she was going to be with so she could do this. They compared it to first-degree murder, not because of the act, but because of the planning. She had every opportunity to back out. She didn't. Someone else said, "This wasn't a drunken mistake. This was a choice, and she's still making it by continuing to talk to him." A lot of people told him to stop feeling sorry for her. One comment said, "She didn't think about you or the kids when she went home with that guy. You need to stop thinking about her and start thinking about yourself and your daughters." Another said, "Her family history is not an excuse. She's a full-functioning adult. She knew what she was doing. She chose what was important to her, and it wasn't you." One of the most upvoted comments said, "The way she's acting all extra affectionate like nothing is wrong, that's not love, that's guilt. Or worse, she's preparing for a regular hookup by being extra sweet to keep you off her trail." Some people questioned whether the friend was telling the truth. A few commenters asked, "Is this friend trustworthy? Does she have ulterior motives? Why would your wife share all these details with her?" The husband replied that it's a mutual friend from church. She spent 2 days trying to convince his wife to come clean before she finally told him herself. His wife apparently called her the morning after, sobbing about what happened. He also confirmed that multiple witnesses saw his wife at the bar with her dad and the ex-boyfriend. Her dad is a drug addict, not a reliable source, and she had only recently started seeing him again after cutting ties years ago. So the story checks out. One commenter summed up the situation perfectly. "She lied to your face at dinner. Divorce her." Another said, "You can love someone and still know that staying with them is the wrong thing to do. You love your kids. Does it make sense to raise them in a home full of resentment? She took the love out of your marriage. You now have to make a decision based on facts, not emotions." Some people did say reconciliation is possible, but only under very specific conditions. If she comes clean, apologizes, gets therapy, blocks the guy, and does the work to rebuild trust, maybe. But if she denies it, trickle-truths you, or blames you, it's over. But most people agreed. If she's still talking to the guy, this isn't a mistake. This is the start of an affair. One comment said, "A one-off mistake, but she's still communicating with him? That's not guilt. That's not remorse. That's planning the next one." And finally, someone pointed out the most painful part. "She planned to lie to you every single day for the rest of your life. She didn't come to you. She didn't confess. She told her friend she's taking this to the grave. That's not someone who made a mistake. That's someone who made a choice and chose herself over you and your children." So what's the takeaway here? Trust, once broken, is almost impossible to rebuild, especially when the person who broke it has no intention of coming clean. He didn't find out because she confessed. He found out because her friend couldn't live with the secret. And even now, his wife doesn't know that he knows. The life he thought he had is over. What comes next is up to him. So what do you think? Should he confront her? Should he try to save the marriage for the kids? Or is divorce the only path forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, hit that subscribe button. We post new stories every single day. And if you want more relationship drama, check out the video on screen right now. I'll see you in the next one.